Welcome back to the Win with Dice podcast, a podcast featuring members of the Win with Dice team. I'm Calvin, and I'm joined here by Ramon.
Hey guys, how's it going? I'm gonna paint the town blue.
What? Oh, yes, of course, because I totally blanked out on what you were talking about for like 2 seconds. It's like,
Yeah. Well, it feels weird talking about something that we've done. It feels like it's so long ago, but it hasn't actually been. It's been like maybe like 2 weeks or something like that.
yeah, like I just had this insane weekend, so everything that came before that feels like a month ago.
Yeah. But I think this episode we're gonna talk about our friend Rebecca ran her first game.
Yeah.
And that was super awesome. So
that was. I wrote down notes for her game, so I'm gonna.
You did. Wow,
Put them
Calvin, you're the
me.
best. You take notes for all of the DMs.
It's because I'm paranoid about forgetting things. But also, I did want to talk about like everything that went on this weekend with the online convention, and I also ran a Pathfinder game, and just
you did
some
a lot
other
of stuff. You're
Yeah.
like super duper busy.
This was like an emotionally and physically and mentally exhausting weekend. So.
Yeah. Okay.
But we can talk about the specifics of that after. I do want to get into talking about Rebecca's game because it has been 2 weeks, and it was like just a phenomenal game in my opinion.
Yeah, man. Shout out to Rebecca. That was an amazing game. I don't know what it was, but I think everyone kind of has like a genre that like they can like excel in, and like Rebecca's is apparently high school. It's like the high school student drama is like the genre that she's great at storytelling, and oh my god, I had the best time.
Apparently, yeah. So, sure, let's get right into the summary, or at least from what I wrote down, is that we were all in this, essentially, like, in an adventuring academy.
Yeah.
The Cadfael Academy, if I'm pronouncing that correctly. Kadfael. I wrote it down, so I'll have to review with her if I'm pronouncing it correctly. But yeah, we were all members of this same academy, basically going into I think it was our graduating year.
Yeah, it was a graduating year.
Where we would then go from like this specific part of the school into one that's more, I guess, like more specified in a way.
Yeah, it's kind of like the end of high school, and you could go off to, I guess, doing your college diploma.
Yeah, like literally that.
Yeah.
So yeah, we were just like, I don't know. It was just really interesting, like getting into that high school era mindset. We were introduced to the headmaster or headmistress, Celestria Ames, who was like as we were going there, she also explained that the school had recently lost some funding, and you did mention this like last week, and we briefly talked about this. Is that it's such a much lower scale sort of situation with regards to a fantasy adventure. Like it's still kind of a big deal, but it's not like, oh, there's a dragon burning down a city, or there's some other apocalyptic thing going on.
Yeah, it's just like, oh, we lost funding. It's like, oh no,
but
like
it's still
soccer's
like,
canceled.
It's still like a relatively big deal because some of our characters have extracurricular activities that they care about.
Yeah, except for my character, apparently.
It's because he's a troublemaker.
Yeah,
he has no structure.
Yeah, so I think it was like the first day of our senior year.
Yeah,
and we got a new homeroom teacher.
Yeah, Professor Gary, professor of practical adventuring.
Practical adventuring, which I thought was pretty awesome.
Who he gave us some useful advice that we completely forgot.
Yeah, that's not true. Actually, me and another player completely forgot, but my wife, who's the smart one, was like, wait a minute, the professor said this.
Well, I forgot, because I wrote it down, but I forgot it until it came up again.
Well, I mean, I don't know. My character is because we all have adventuring, I think I guess like archetypes, or like there are adventure classes, and then we have like high school archetypes, right? Like
Yes, yeah.
there's like the cool kid, there's like the hall monitor, there's like the jock or whatever. So I mean, I was playing the troublemaker, like kind of like a prankster.
I was playing a super nerdy character.
Yeah, a super nerdy character that can't get his shit together.
You tried. You tried. Yeah, so essentially after that class where Professor Gary told us that things are not always what they seem, look before you leap, which would be relevant later, we had all sort of like divided off to like sort of a lunch period kind of thing. And at that point we had a chance to sort of interact with the other NPCs that were around the school. And what I like that Rebecca did is she gave us like a list of images and names of different students who were in the academy, and also just a description of like sort of what their class was, but mostly what their personality is. And she introduced a mechanic where we could make these sort of interaction checks with them and start to work up a
to get hearts.
Yeah, hearts.
It's
okay.
Hearts. Yeah, it's like Harvest Moon. She said she got it from.
Okay. I wrote down flirt points. I don't know if that's what it was called. But...
well, you have to flirt with them to get the hearts.
Or maybe it's heart points and my handwriting is terrible.
I don't know.
Could be a bit of both. But essentially it was just sort of a thing that like there's obviously going to be some sort of like end of school year prom dance event. Which you got to get a date for, of course. Because that's a typical high school story trope. And we could like work up to doing that with these characters. And I just really like that she gave us this list because one, it made the academy feel more like full of people. Like there's a whole dozen plus like 15 or so characters here. And also just like immediately introduced an opportunity to start role-playing with these NPCs and already have some sort of like goal that you're working to. It's not like you just introduce yourself to this character for the sake of doing so. Like there's inherently a gameplay reason for it, and I just really liked how she set that up.
Yeah, and it was cool because like I think the high school setting, automatically you have some rivalries. There's some people who, like I like the idea that the other player Payne, he was playing a paladin, and obviously and I'm playing like a tiefling demon sorcerer, and like I always want to do bad things, right? So there's like a constant thing of him kind of chasing me around the school trying to stop whatever plan I have, because I always have like a plan or a trick or a prank or something up my sleeve, and he wants to stop it before it happens, even though, and I love that like back and forth we get to have with that.
Yeah, your immediate rivalry.
It was right off the bat. It was awesome. I thought it was like my favorite thing, because the player too is I love Payne. Payne's like super impulsive, like I am. So even though one of us is good and the other one is kind of bad, we both end up doing like the same stupid thing. Like like later in the recap, something happened and we both immediately just jumped on it without missing a beat, which is awesome.
But before that, during the lunch period where my character was obviously hanging out in the alchemist lab, you were trying to pull a prank.
Right, yeah. I was gonna steal some chemicals or something because I wanted to set up like a blue bomb to like blue somebody or something. Like just like turn their skin blue.
Paint someone blue.
Yeah, but like kind of semi-magically and permanently, like...
Yeah.
Because I thought it was hilarious. Also, like, turns out I don't really know how to be like a bad character. Not like a, in this, I know how to be like a bad, I can play bad PCs, but I don't know how to be like a troublemaker PC. Like, I'm never that person. Ever. So it's like I was like, what's funny but not like super
not deadly
harmful? Yeah, right. Like I don't know what that is, and I don't really know how to be like disruptive. I'm just never that person. But it was fun trying to do that, and I got we're missing the most important character in the entire school.
Oh my
Bones.
gosh, yeah, we didn't talk about Bones. Bones? How did Bones come to be? Like I vaguely remember that conversation because I was like half paying attention to it.
Yeah, so it came off of we're all kind of like talking about Rebecca's game before she started planning it, right? We're like, oh, what we should do. It's like, yeah. And then my wife said like, oh, we should. I'm gonna play a goth named Scarlet, and I have to go meet Bones at the mall.
Yeah,
right?
her boyfriend Bones.
Her boyfriend Bones, right? But I had the idea that it was so funny because it's D&D, that her boyfriend Bones was actually just a skeleton.
Yep, literal living skeleton.
Yeah, who can't talk, and is just literally just a skeleton going to high school with the rest of us.
And is somehow the coolest. He's everybody's friend. Like,
he's everyone's friend.
As we were introducing our characters, Rebecca had asked us, like, what was your character doing over the summer? And somehow everyone was doing something with Bones.
Yeah, except for Abby's character, Scarlet.
Who was actually dating Bones. But he was just too
actually
busy.
dating Bones. Yeah, Bones helped your character out and figuring out some potion stuff. I think I went fishing with Bones or something at the docks. Cause shout out to Dawson's Creek.
That's what it was.
Yeah, actually, I never read Dawson's Creek, but like I figured that it was like a teen thing. So I was like, yeah, but me and Bones went down to the docks.
Oh, okay, I didn't pick up on that reference.
Yeah, and then Payne's character, him and Bones went surfing because he's playing like this beach boy. I call him Beach Boy because he's from like an island, and he's kind of like nice and surfs a lot. I thought it was pretty funny. But yeah.
So yeah, like we had our eventful lunch period. Payne's character tried to stop you from planting your little prank bomb, and it literally blew up in your face.
Yeah, because Payne's like, I immediately tackle you, and it's like, well, all the stuff just kind of explodes, and we're both blue, which I still think is hilarious. Like, honestly, I keep thinking that we're like, there's like some Disney Channel, like Disney Channel stuff, like it's really fun, kid friendly, kind of high school drama where we're just kind of like, I can't believe you blew us both or whatever, right? Like, it's so good.
Oh my gosh, I'm imagining the exact camera framing that you would see on that kind of show now. Yeah, that's basically
exactly
what it was.
I know, it was awesome, man. And, so we got back to, after all that wrapped up, but we got like a mysterious message.
Yeah, we all got a mysterious letter in our lockers. With very distinct handwriting. A clue that none of us picked up on again.
Yeah, which I thought was crazy because the handwriting matched the teacher's handwriting on the chalkboard, because Rebecca showed us like two slides or whatever with the teacher's handwriting, and I was like, oh, I didn't pick that up, but like after the fact I thought it was super awesome.
Yeah, I mean I didn't realize it either.
That attention to detail is what makes this shit so awesome.
Yeah, exactly that. That's why I'm like excited to see what she does next, because there's already that inherent attention to details that, hey, the players might not pick up on, but you do it as the GM to make everything feel more consistent.
Yes, like calculating travel time to get there a day ahead. When it didn't matter.
Yep. Once you start doing the things that don't matter, that's when you know you've made it. Totally. So the note directed us to go to like this
like a broom closet.
Yeah, like this abandoned closet. When we had got in there, I think it was the puzzle that happened first, but we did go in and discover the room was like pretty much, it looked empty and abandoned.
Yeah.
Oh, no, like it was a fight first. There was a fight first. I'm sorry.
Yeah, no, we got in there, and the teacher just told us to clean up the room, told us that we're going to do something about this dire situation, and about the school. Sorry, the school losing funding. We're going to try and fix that, but first we got to clean out this janitor's closet, pretty much.
Yeah,
right?
which we were going to use as sort of like our base of operations.
Right. So we got in there, and the place is a mess, and there's like a sign for Cadfield Academy that was missing the K.
Yes.
And we're like, okay, that's kind of weird, but like I never thought about it.
Yeah, right? I just thought it was like the room was messed up. Oh, also on the way there, your delinquent and the hall monitor paladin were like racing each other to get there.
Yeah, because we didn't we were like walking together and realized that we were walking in the same direction, and you're like, well, I'm just gonna go this way, and I'm going this way by myself too.
Yeah, you were trying to walk away from each other and you just end up running down the hall.
Yeah, which is pretty funny. I like that Scarlet, my wife's character, was just like, this is dumb and boys are dumb. Because arguably we were being pretty dumb boys. Like,
that's what made it fun.
Yeah.
So yeah, we went into there. We started cleaning up, and then suddenly,
It's just like
there were
giant.
the giant rat.
Yeah, a giant rat showed up, and it was like initiative, and we're like, okay, I guess we fight the rat. And then I used my first time using like a sorcerer, which I thought was super awesome. They had like a sorcerer, so it's like one of their focus spells. They get to turn their mouth into this giant maw of like teeth.
Yeah.
And every time it bites something, I actually gain temporary hit points, which came in super handy because I got wrecked by a bunch of rats eventually.
You sure did.
Yeah, I basically just kept gobbling up. As soon as a rat showed up, I gobbled it up and then move on to the next one. Everyone was like, oh god.
Yeah, I tried to help you out with that using my own alchemist transformations, which really did not work out very well for me.
Yeah.
I'm liking the class. I'm liking this sort of Jekyll and Hyde thing that I've ended up going with, but I was not rolling very well.
I thought it was hilarious for like in game. It was a little frustrating because like we really need your help, but like as like the story wise, I think it's hilarious that your character is like kind of messing it up. Like
Yeah, he's not a very physical guy. I was trying to
bumbling. I think the word's bumbling. Like
sort of, yes. I was trying to make those two very distinct things. So he's going to be pretty bad at helping out physically. But while that was happening, some of the brooms in the room, and she had used these like Lego figures as the minis, which was also great, by the way.
Yeah.
But there was some of the brooms in the room also came to life and started like whacking us and throwing up dust and stuff.
Yeah, which I thought was super cool because it's like, it kind of made it feel like, oh, this is just like an actual broom.
Yeah, like we all thought it was just like a prop at first, just like set the scene, but like, oh no, now it's smacking us.
Yeah. I think we ended up just kind of grabbing it at one point and just breaking it like in half. I was like, no, stop. And then a big rat swarm came. And so a big rat swarm came, and because your character was bad at stuff, got swarmed with a bunch of rats.
Sure did.
And then I told my wife's character Scarlett to just roast them. Because so here's the thing, it's like me as Ramon, like the real person, like the player, I was like, I think swarms take like extra damage or something from area effects. I'm pretty sure that's the way it works. So I think it's the best way to like deal with the problem. And like I'm pretty sure Calvin has enough HP, or like Calvin's character has enough HP to like last, right?
Sure.
And I was like, that's a little metagamey, but I was like, you know what? I think it's still hilarious because I think my character still would say that yes, burn, just burn him. It's fine. Like.
Yeah,
we'll
no, I totally
afterwards.
agree. He definitely would do that.
Yeah. So there was high schoolers too. Like high schoolers like jump before they, they leap before they think, right? So it's just like you just do it.
Exact opposite of what Professor Gary said.
Yeah, like literally the exact opposite. But anyway, so yeah, we wrapped that fight up. RT is a little toasty. I think your character's at RT.
Artie, yeah, it's Artheon, but everyone calls him Artie, much to his chagrin.
Yeah.
The paladin character is nicknamed Arby, so that'll get real confusing.
I think his name's Arbitrarius? Yeah, Arbitrarius is his name. And so right. I call it. Yeah, so my character just calls him Beach Boy. And my character name is Grimes, which I thought was a good name. It's Tim Grimes. You just call me Grimes. Yeah, it's so like edgy. It's like a cool thing. Yeah, no, it's so edgy.
But
yep. I was gonna say I like to think of Grimes as being like he's a tiefling. He's got like tiefling horns. He's got like maybe like reddish skin or something like that, or some other like off-colored skin, and he has like a leather jacket. He's badass like that.
Of course, he's a delinquent. The jacket is required.
Yeah, the jacket is required, right? And then after that, a chest just kind of fell from nowhere.
Well, before that, there was a puzzle.
Oh, right. There was a puzzle.
She actually made like this physical, like as we were fighting these creatures, they were dropping like these small pieces of wood. And then she had set this puzzle in front of us that involved like these 3 triangular pieces of wood and also like a wooden square. and we were sort of tasked with figuring out how to like repair the Cadfill sign using those things. We had to like replace the K on the sign.
Yeah. But the coolest part about it is like we killed a rat or whatever. We took one down, and then all of a sudden this like she just hands us this piece, this triangle, and I was like, "What's this?"
What does this mean?
She's like, "I don't know. It's a clue." I was like, "Okay." I didn't know there was a puzzle. But it was awesome. I just like that she just handed us something, and then another rat showed up, and I was like, "Oh, okay. I need to keep fighting rats to get more of these things."
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, I really
so,
like the physical puzzle thing that she made. Because it was a bit of a brain teaser. I was trying to figure it out while you and Paige were going at it, and I just really liked how in character it was that you two like immediately jumped on to trying to figure this thing out and were trying to figure out how to put it together. Scarlet was holding back, and then Artheon was like trying to figure it out from a distance, and then just kind of like, I guess, walked up and like, because I realized like as we were trying to put this together, it's like there's no way to make a letter from these shapes.
Yeah.
And then I took some thinking to be like, oh, these are the negative space, and if you line them up, then it makes a K.
Oh man, that would have taken us forever. Like me and Payne were nowhere close to that. Just two dumb idiot boys just trying to like smash this thing together. We're like, we kept like grabbing out of each other's hands, like, no, stop. This is how you do it. And it's like
yeah, I really liked that puzzle that you did. That was really great thinking. And then a chest. So a chest came down, and then Arby and Grimes just went right for it.
Yeah. It was like a chest showed up, and I was like, oh yeah, treasure. And then I was like, I grab it, and then Payne's character. Arby's like, oh, you're not gonna grab it. I'm also gonna grab it. And then Rebecca's like, I guess you guys both grab it. And then it turns out it was a mimic. And I was like, really? I was like, there's no way we're level 1. You know we're gonna throw us a mimic. And then turns out Rebecca's savage. So
Yep. It was indeed a mimic, and you both immediately got stuck.
Oh man, it was a wild ride of like, it was a crazy fight because it was so intense. Like me and Payne's character were stuck, and we kept getting Payne's sword stuck in there, and like I couldn't really do much because like, you know, I used up all my spells and stuff, and like my jaws were already used or whatever, so it's like all my cool stuff is already done. I tried to scare the thing to make it easier for us to like remove ourselves, but that failed because of things like a mimic. It doesn't give a crap. It's just gonna eat us, right? And
Artie was trying to do sling shots, but those were not at all working, and it's like, I don't want to go Wolfman and attack this thing because I'll get stuck to it too. So the only really useful person was Scarlet.
Yeah, it was hilarious. Scarlet just kind of, I don't know, Abby's character was so good. Like, she just like stood back and just like, I'll just burn it with fire, I guess. just blasted it for like 4 rounds until it died. And then me and my character Grimes and RB. Oh, that's the worst. I hate it. So far,
I love it.
I have not have a campaign or like a party without 2 characters having very similar names. It's nuts.
Just to make things difficult.
There's a million names in the world. You could have been named literally anything, and someone had to pick RB and Artie. Like, oh god.
Yeah, it's like Ray and Rain. You just
yeah, or Rook and Rix. All you people. Like, it's so hard. Anyway, so you know, we're using like the assist reaction to try and like pull like his sword out together and then stab it back in together. Like, we're like in it together. We both decided to just be stuck for the rest of the fight because there's no point of us escaping, because like if one of us like went down or something, then like, you know, it would get to like, you know, Scarlet and the other, and so we just chose to get stuck in. Mm-hmm. And there was points where like this thing like you know, the paladin would use his shield block to block his thing, and then because it's sticky, it just takes shield off.
Yep.
And then we would have to pull the shield back off of it and put it back on the paladin's arm, and then grab the sword and stab the sword in, but then the sword gets stuck, and then we both had to pull the sword out together. Like,
you did have to do a lot of working together, which led to some great character development.
Yeah.
but ultimately wasn't super effective in combat.
Yeah, it was hilarious. I mean, like, I was laughing almost the entire session because, I don't know, I thought everything was so funny and so, like, I was having such a good time. But, like, I think my character was also kind of will be laughing the entire time like a crazy person. This is like a crazy situation, man. He's just like, yeah, this will work out. Don't worry about it. Like, you know.
Yeah, it was kind of absurd, but it was such a perfect, like, it was such a perfect situation for, like, the characters and the tone of the game that, it was just like a brilliant setup.
So after Scarlet does like a bajillion damage and basically like takes this thing on single-handedly while the dumb boys kind of hold it up.
Basically, yeah, that is entirely what happened.
Yeah, showing who the true leader is.
I guess so.
between I don't know, four of us. We kill the mimic and the professor shows up and is like, well, this is pretty good. I guess you guys are good enough to save the school.
Yeah, it turns out the whole thing was a test by Professor Gary, sort of an illusory situation. Like, he would have dissipated the illusions if someone was actually dying. But, you know, we don't need that. We got Scarlet.
Oh, man, it's so funny, too, because she was the only one... Well, maybe RD too, but she was very vocal, be like, "Hey man, don't touch that thing. Remember what the teacher said." I was like, "No way, man, this is mine."
I for sure did not think of what the teacher said because I was like, it was afterwards that Rebecca had brought it up again. And I was like, "Oh yeah, pay attention. Things aren't always what they seem. Look before you leap." Yeah, that was good advice, but followed none of it.
Yeah, I don't think I ever played like cautious characters really. There's a point where for caution and the point for just reckless abandon. I lean towards reckless abandon like 9 times out of 10.
Yeah, I for sure haven't played a cautious character, so. And then basically what Professor Gary wanted us to do is because we're an adventuring academy, he wanted us to do adventures like around town and stuff like that to prove the worth of the school. And hopefully get back some investors before the school goes under or something. I don't know.
Yeah, who knows? They already cut soccer, so what else are they going to cut? You know, I think the school play is still on.
I hope so.
But what happens if that happens? With that, we run out of money for that.
Yeah,
but anyway,
it's such a great setup.
That was so fun, man. And like I love all of Rebecca's like physical stuff. Like it made me want to do more physical stuff and like get my NPCs like in line and like figure all that crap up. I think it like basically was like, man, I need to step my game up.
It was just a really well done game that really fit the genre, tone, and mood. I really like the setup that she gave us because I'm super curious about why did the school lose funding in the first place? How do we get it back? Like how do we save the school? Like that's the goal of this campaign. I feel was saving the school as well as everything else like involved in like getting a date and stuff like that. But it's just so I don't know what else to say about it. It's just really hits all the notes that it sets out to hit.
Yeah, for sure, man. I think all of us had a blast. I think that she really had like the setting down, like the themes down, like all of it, man. I was like, it's exactly. Apparently, this is what I was missing in my life was to play D&D high school, essentially.
Basically. But yeah, just really looking forward to playing with her again. Hopefully we get a chance to do that.
Yeah, definitely. Well, so I guess we could talk about your crazy weekend.
Yeah, a lot happened this weekend. Well, I guess there's one thing that's kind of off topic, but also on topic. Have you heard about the YouTube channel Unus, Annus?
I was just informed of a thing today about it, that it was deleted or something.
Yeah, essentially,
like RIP.
Essentially what it was is these two YouTubers, and also like they had a whole team of like the producer, their editors and stuff like that. But essentially they made this channel that the intent of it was for it to last exactly 1 year, and they would make one video a day, like one video every day for a year. And they started like last year in November, and they weren't like small, like one-off whatever videos. Like there was actually like decent production behind them. And they did different things, like they would sometimes go out to places, like they went to meet a DJ, they did some drumming stuff, they tried to make a pop song, they did like DIY cheese, or how does cryogenic freezing work, or like homemade bungee jumping, or let's make a boat, or and even with quarantine and stuff going on, they would sometimes go on and like, what are some really obscure websites or really obscure YouTube videos? What's
Right.
Let's go to a random place on Google Maps. Let's try to find Atlantis on Google Maps.
So just literally everything under the sun for 365 days.
Yeah, yeah, like
And then it's
making
all
their
gone.
own wine, making their own cheese, making their own sausages.
Yeah.
like a whole, like all these really, really fun things. And then they could like go out and do things when they were able to, like horse archery and things like that. But the overall idea of the channel was like, again, that it would end in 1 year, and every video started and ended with the same countdown timer that was counting down to that specific time. Like it was like this ticking clock at the beginning and end of each video. And sort of the spirit behind it was that not like things aren't permanent. Everything ends eventually, and then all you're really left with is the memories of it. Which I thought was really, like, I mean, that alone was really interesting to me, but also their commitment. They managed to do this for a whole year with running their own channels too and everything. Because they both have popular gaming channels. That they committed to be able to do a video each day for a year I mean, like, the whole team put a whole lot of work into it. So yeah, like I just got used to watching this channel every single day, like more than I would watch their own separate channels. So
Right,
like,
but okay, so wait, did they put out a video like every day they did something and put out a video, or was it just every day a new video showed up?
every day a new video showed up. Their recording
Okay,
schedule was like, I think they would have to do like a few things a day and then edit them out, like, you know how it goes.
Yeah.
But yeah, like they consistently uploaded a new video each day.
Yeah, that's not too bad. I mean, it sounds like they just did a lot of hard work. And
Yeah,
their
it was
team did
a lot of hard work. It was.
Yeah.
That's like what I really respected about it, that they committed to that schedule and they were able to keep it for 12 months for 365 videos. But yeah, the end of it was on Friday the 13th, and they had this 12-hour live stream just like reminiscing, like going over old videos, like their very first one and some of the more recent ones, and like talking to all the people that they had met, like all the people who were like guests on the channel. They even had, like, in one of the earlier videos, they had like they talked to this person who makes coffins, and they had one custom made with the channel, like, because the channel colors are mostly like this very sharp black and white, so they had this coffin made that was like half black, half white, that they brought onto it was just like a whole like 12-hour stream. And I don't know, I got emotional because I was just thinking about, like, again, all the work they put in, all the time they spent on this, and I was thinking, like, of all the other videos that I had seen, because I had some favorites here that were just totally gone. And then, like, they would go and try to take down people who uploaded the entire video, just so, like, it keeps with the idea and the spirit of the channel. Like once it's gone, it's gone. So yeah, like, they live streamed them ending the channel, clicking the delete button, and because of their time zone, I had to be up at like 3 a.m. to see it, which was a bit of a pain. I set an alarm for 2:30, but my body just woke up at 2, and I was like, okay. And the thing is, even when I went back to sit down and continue watching the stream, because I had gone to sleep, like, I missed a few hours of it, there was some stuff that happened that, like, I missed and I have not seen, and I don't know if I'm ever going to be able to see it, because it's just gone now. And the point is, at this point, the channel had like 4 million subs. Each video was getting like upwards of 1 million views. And a lot of people who they knew personally, because they're in the YouTube industry, were like, why would you delete something like this when you have such a massive audience? But that was just the idea of it. So yeah, I was just there watching them. I saw them press the button, and I could not go back to sleep for like 2 more hours, because I was just filled with this, like, this weird energy. Like, I wanted to start making things again. I kept...
that's what that tweet was about.
Yeah, you probably saw it.
I was like, I saw the tweet, and I was like, what?
What's going on with Calvin?
Calvin getting all serious all of a sudden on the internet?
Oh god, I don't know. I was thinking, I probably said this in the tweet, but I was like, what could I do if I spent every day in a year doing it? And I was
a hell of a lot, man.
Yeah, exactly. I was just filled with that energy when I tried to get back to sleep, and I had to get back to sleep because this is just to set the scene of how my brain was on fire all weekend. But I did have to get back to sleep because I had a game at 9 a.m. So yeah, as I mentioned, UConn was this weekend, and I think UConn is usually based in, was it Minnesota or Michigan? Someplace in the U.S. that starts with an M, which I'm kicking myself for forgetting, because the people who usually go there physically were telling me about it.
Yeah.
If it's in person next year, then I'll remember where it is. But yeah, essentially it's just like they ran it as like this online virtual convention, and people would set up their own different events, and they would run them online, usually on Discord and stuff, and you could show up and like play some tabletop games, play some board games, play some card games. So
okay, cool.
I got tickets, quote unquote, for 2 Mutants and Masterminds games on Saturday, and then a Sentinels of the Multiverse game on Sunday. So the Mutants and Masterminds games, the GM, Alexander, he's published, for one, I think I also mentioned this before, is that he ran an actual play of Mutants and Masterminds that I really, really enjoyed. Also, he's done some stuff for one of the published books for the games that has like a bunch of supervillains.
Nice.
I think it's Threat Report. I really should have looked up the name of it, but it's a book with like a lot of supervillains in it. And he's also like a published author and stuff, and he's like part of another channel that's going on, that's doing like their own streams and stuff. So I was just like, sure, I'll play with this guy. I think he's cool. So in the morning, he ran a Guardians of the Galaxy game.
Ooh.
That I know he's done before, so I don't want to spoil the specifics of it. But the plot was essentially like, after defeating Thanos, the Guardians go out and have a hell of a party. And then they wake up the next morning in a Nova Corps prison being accused of a crime that they're 99% sure they didn't commit. So they have to go and figure out what the heck happened to them last night. And the characters that ended up, because I like one person was playing as Rocket, one person was playing as Mantis, and I was playing as Groot.
Nice.
So those are the ones you want on an investigation.
Yeah.
I was trying to only say I am Groot for the whole game. It was kind of really difficult to convey emotion. I did have to like outright describe I am Groot, which of course means X, Y, or whatever I was trying to say.
I guess you could have just sent it to Rocket, like just message them direct at Rocket, be like, I am Groot. Click, send.
Maybe I thought about it. I don't know, because I was like, am I making this harder for everyone else? But I wanted to stick to it, so for the most part I did. There was some.
Damn it, Markiplier! You did this to Calvin. You made him commit.
Yeah, you Mark and Ethan. But yeah, there was a couple really cool things that happened that I kind of don't want to say because I know he might run this game again for other people. I will tell you off stream what happened because it was a really badass thing.
Okay, cool. Yeah, I mean, it sounds like a fun game. I love Guardians of the Galaxy. Probably my favorite things that came out of the MCU. I think the 2 movies that are out right now are amazing, and I love all the characters and love all the actors that play them. So
exactly,
it's good.
That's why it was just like a lot of fun to play those characters and play with those people, and I really hope I get to do stuff with them again. I'm really looking forward to that. And then I took a bit of a break, and then later that night, I think it was at like 8 or so, we played a Suicide Squad game.
Oh wow, getting in there, man.
Yeah. So this time there was a few more people, and I was playing as Catwoman, because like in the morning he had just told me what characters were there, and Catwoman seemed like an unusual addition for the Suicide Squad. So I was like, sure, I'll go for that. And then I played like a bit of Arkham Knight, and I played as Catwoman, so I could like have some moves in mind when we started. And essentially we're part of the Suicide Squad, so Amanda Waller sends us out on a mission to pretty much disrupt a peace talk that's going on between 2 warring nations, but it's going on in the U.S. in a place Arkham, Massachusetts, which.
That's Lovecraft country, isn't it?
Exactly. So there was some mystical stuff going on as we're trying to do this mission. So again, I don't want to spoil the entire plot. There was a pretty major plot twist. And I was like, what? We got to deal with this now?
Probably had to do with like fish people or tentacles or something. Like, if it's from Arkham, Massachusetts, like that place is full of all sorts of crazy stuff. Cool, yeah, man. Like that sounds like awesome. It sounds like you had a great time.
Oh yeah, because like
jam-packed weekend.
Yeah, like because Catwoman's like not like a killer, not like people like Deadshot are. So it was really interesting, like being in that group.
Who is Captain Boomerang? Does anyone play Captain Boomerang?
Yeah, someone was playing Captain Boomerang.
Oh yes, Captain Boomerang, you're like the worst person.
Oh man, like I want to run a Suicide Squad game now. I don't know, maybe I will at some point. I'm very busy. Yeah. But yeah, it was just two like really fun games. It was just really cool to be like a player and playing with new people, and yeah, because like I don't usually play a whole lot of stuff online, especially like with new groups. This was maybe my second and third time in my entire life doing that. So
nice, man. Well, hey, like honestly, I've never done it before. I've never just jumped into something with a bunch of new people and kind of just done it. Like, that's awesome, man.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Next time there's a virtual convention, I'll let you know. But like that game ended up finishing at midnight, and then I had to get some rest because I had another thing at 9 a.m. the next day.
Then you ran a game at 9 again?
No, I didn't run it. It was a guy by the name of Evans who was running a Sentinels of the Multiverse game. I thought he would run it in the Sentinels digital app because like that was one of my questions. Like, why don't we just use it in this? But he was saying instead we ran it in Tabletop Simulator.
What?
Yeah, that's what I thought at first. But like once we started playing, basically it was able to recreate a 3D space where you could like physically draw cards from a deck and put them down and draw cards from the villain deck. Like Sentinels of the Multiverse, for people who don't know, it's a card-based superhero game where each superhero has their own deck of cards, as well as a villain deck of cards and a deck of cards for the environment. And you use a combination of heroes against a single villain, or there's game types with multiple villains and multiple environments. But the basic game is you use your heroes to fight a villain to some sort of win condition, while having to deal with the villain's attacks, like their threats, their minions, whatever, as well as the environment changing the conditions of the battle. So
yeah. I think it's a really cool system, and like I want to. I would love to play like other genres like in it. Like I think that's such a good idea for like maybe even a fantasy version of this of like Sentinels. You know what I mean? Kind of like, you know, a D&D-esque game without actually being playing. Like
it is, because it lets the villain run automatically. It lets the environment run automatically, so you and your heroes can just like team up. But that's
actually, shout out to the very first video we uploaded to the channel,
which was us playing Sentinels Digital.
Yeah, that was a few years ago.
Maybe I'll put a link to it.
Yeah, we'll probably link it below because it's on the channel anyway. That video's a little rough, but if you want to see how the game actually just plays, yeah, it's there.
But yeah, like it was able to recreate like the physical space, like it was on a table.
I've seen Tabletop Simulator be able to. People play like Warhammer on it, which I think is ridiculous because Warhammer is such a crazy game. I don't know how you're gonna sit there and like, okay, I pick up all the dice, click click, throw all the dice, click click, move all my dudes, click click. Like it's just, oh man, it's such a long game already. I can't imagine playing it in like on a computer.
Yeah, like what was really interesting is, okay, I have to describe my experience with how this happened. So essentially, like there was a physical table, well not physical, but like in-game physical, where the game was taking place. We had our hero decks and stuff, and if you panned the camera upwards, you could see all the in-game decks and all the hero variants and stuff. So I picked Expatriate, who is the gun girl, who was my favorite, and also Tempest, just because I haven't played Tempest in a while. And Evans had picked La Commodora, who is the hero version of La Capitan, and Chrono Ranger, who is this time-traveling cowboy. They're both time travelers, and there's some really interesting lore with them. I've also been listening to the Sentinels podcast recently, but that's a whole other subject. So yeah, we were playing this game, and I was saying, I just really liked playing it in Tabletop Simulator because it felt more like playing a physical game. And then he had mentioned custom decks. And then he told me that if I moved the camera down, there was another table there. And I had no idea. So I panned the camera down, and suddenly I see this table with characters I've never heard of. Characters that other people have made and put into the game.
That's intense.
It was crazy because my eyes are just like for one, it was like, oh, I can try these new characters and see what they're like. But also, oh, maybe I can make some characters.
Nice.
And then he gave me an invite to their Discord and stuff too, so that was great. But yeah,
God, we need to make a Gold Knight deck.
Yeah, dude, let's make Sentinels decks out of our Mutants and Masterminds characters. Sure.
That'd be so good. Yes, I'm so excited now. I am brimming with the positive gold energy.
Yeah, so I was just filled with energy from that. Again, it was a really great experience playing something online, playing a game that I've played a bunch of times, playing with new people, having a completely new experience, one that I never would have known about had I not reached out to this virtual convention. So, shout out to UConn for that. But my Sunday was not over, Ramon, because I was running a Pathfinder game at 6 o'clock.
What the heck, Calvin? How did you play? Okay, listen. When the one weekend when I played in your game, and then the next day played in Rebecca's game, then next day played in your game, like I was burnt out. I don't know how you played 2 games. Watch Markiplier and Ethan die.
Yeah, I
play Sentinels of the Multiverse and run a game. Like, what the heck?
Look, that whole day, I'll be honest, that whole day, like the whole week, I was having this insane writer's block. Because I had mentioned before, like I had figured out how to tie everything together, but I hadn't figured out where to go next. That is what I was struggling with when I was getting that game ready. And even like as we were prepping, like one of the players was having some issues with their audio equipment. And there was a bit of relief for me because I was like, okay, I have some time to do some last minute prep. Come on, brain, do stuff now in the final hour.
Yeah, man. Literally, like everyone's logging out. It's 30 minutes left. You're just like, I gotta put something in front of these motherfuckers for 4 hours or whatever.
Now. So we started off with like essentially where we had left off. They were trekking through the sewers trying to investigate some undead that were popping up, as well as trying to get some clues for their main quest, which is recovering the orbs of dragonkind, because they're all supposed to go into this crown of dragons.
Ooh.
So pretty much they had, like when we had last left off, they were right before the final boss fight of that room.
Yeah.
Now this group, in comparison to the other one that I've been running that you've been in, they're a bit more powerful because they're all level 4. But they're also distinctly wealthier, which is something that's going to come up later. So, like, what I was struggling with was, what do I put in front of them to motivate them to do quests? Because with the other group, it's like, you need to make money so you can travel because your goal is to get from one place to another. With these guys, they had plenty of money, so I didn't have that motivation. I was like, what can motivate them to get paid? Because it can't just be, like, randos. It's got to be someone extremely wealthy.
Right.
Or they have to be in a position where they are required to do something. So that was my struggle, and that's what I was trying to think of like the whole time. But I'll come back to that. But basically, what happened first is we got to this boss fight. So again, these guys are crazy strong, and the last time they had a fight, I thought the thing they were fighting would be extremely challenging. I thought it would be like the highest level thing that they could deal with. But in that combat, the barbarian character had done like a significant amount of damage on a crit and managed to bring this thing down pretty quickly. So still recalling that, what I had thrown against them was this huge skeletal Hulk, this CR7 creature that was at some points pretty dangerous, but also because the map I used, it was like a sewer chamber, but it had like 6 chambers to the sides. So every round I had someone roll a d12, and based on that roll, either a skeleton with a crossbow or a zombie would appear out of one of the pools and then start attacking them.
Ooh, nice.
So yeah, the fight was going to get progressively harder. There was this like arcane machine within the center of the room that after they made some checks, I described to them like what it was doing. So they had to like destroy the machine before it summoned more zombies, while also dealing with this massive creature that was just tearing through them. And there was a couple of points, I'll admit, like where I was like, did I make this too hard? Those points, of course, being because the Skeletal Hulk has a broad swipe ability where it can do 2 attacks without getting the multiple attack penalty. So at the point where I had downed 2 characters, where 2 characters were dying and 1 person's companion was dying, I was like, is this too hard? Did I make this too hard? Because
this is fine. This is a boss fight.
Exactly.
People should be going down. Calvin.
No, but I didn't want to I didn't want to have a TPK. I didn't want to do that. If it happened, I mean, it happens. I did kill Keely. I remember that. But I didn't want to kill all of them.
Keely died because Keely wanted to die. You know. I had all the powers to my ability to get the heck out of there, but I was like, nah, man. Keely is the wall holding back this crap from all the squishies. I'm gonna do it until Delorphic gets here, and Keely did it. Damn it.
That's honorable as far as I'm concerned. But yeah, I just took down the barbarian and the wizard who was doing that stupid protection spell that gave everyone a +1 to their AC. So no, but I took them down, and there was a part of me that was wondering, did I overstep here? Because I wasn't done with on that turn. I hadn't finished yet because there was another person there, and yeah, I had to shoot them with a crossbow because there was a skeleton right there.
Shoot him with a crossbow. Roll that dice.
And at the same time, there was another zombie attacking the other person whose companion animal was down. So yeah, there was a couple, because even when they got back up, they got knocked down again, because the sorcerer who had a heal spell, she did it in a burst, and brought them back up on their feet, but then they got knocked back down again, basically right away by the Skeletal Hulk. So
yeah.
I mean, they were just once again in the situation where they were dying, and for one, I just want to mention heal spell. Apparently, I was doing it wrong. Because, you take 1 action to heal 1d8 with a touch. You take 2 actions, you can heal 1d8 plus 8 at a distance. Right. And I thought if you did 3 actions, it does it in a burst. And my thinking was, okay, if this thing is leveling up from each action you're taking, then it should do 1d8 plus 8 in a burst. Apparently, it just does 1d8 in the burst.
Oh, okay.
Which I think is less interesting, but, I don't know.
I think that it's balanced. I guess that makes sense because you're hitting multiple people and you're hurting people at the same time, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, it also does damage. So what I at first was thinking was, okay, the damage is the 1d8, but the heal adds 8. And that's what I was doing for the first bit of the fight. But one of the players had looked up a Reddit thread of this exact question, and I saw the conclusion there, and it's oh yeah, that's totally, I understand it now. I might see what I want to do per group, because I think it's more interesting that you hold it, it expands, it gets more powerful. So my thinking was it should do what the lower level is doing, but rules is written.
All I think it is, if it's fair if somebody casts harm 3 actions to do the same amount of damage. That's the only way to make it fair.
Yeah, if I have an evil cleric.
An evil cleric doing harm, doing that much damage, why not? A necromancer would be whatever, y'all are dead now. Just explodes and does 30 damage to everyone. Well, anyway.
But yeah, there was so during the fight there was a really interesting moment. There was kind of a thing that I kind of wish I did, which was essentially the sorcerer who had heal. She was going to again do that burst to get the barbarian and the wizard back on their feet, but she had been cornered by the Skeletal Hulk, who had used, again, it had done 2 actions to knock those 2 back into dying, and then used its last action to move right in front of her. So she was torn between just running away from this thing, or using all 3 of her actions so she could do the burst heal, which would, of course, probably leave her vulnerable to an attack. And I really liked the struggle that she was going through there. I had to step away from for a moment because I had some laundry that was going on. So I just did that so I could let them stew in it for a bit. And then I came back. I was like, all right, what are we doing?
Oh, it's the best. The best. I love it when the turmoil, like that's why I love combat, man. Like there's just so much drama. So much at stake in the situation where I'm just like, what do we do? Right?
Exactly.
Like, I love it.
There is. That was just, I love like watching them struggle with that. And they did some great character development because they stayed there. They did their healing burst. They brought their friends back to their feet. But they also, of course, did damage with their spell. And I kind of wish I had just let them kill the thing at that point.
Yeah.
But you know me.
Man, Calvin, I think that's the one thing as a player in your games that cheeses me, because like I do it.
Yeah, I know you do it.
Like I do it because it's like I don't care about the rules is right. That thing is dead. If that thing has like 2 HP or 1 HP or whatever,
it was literally
it's like a climactic moment. You know, I'm just like, it's dead. Everybody's gonna be happy. There's gonna be chairs. I want the chairs. Give me the chairs. I want a chair too. Like,
yeah, there's some moments like for some spells, like the heal spell I just talked about, or the magic weapon spell, where it's like, I think it's cooler if it works this way. But things like hit points, I'm sometimes a bit more like, oh, that's what the number is though, or
man,
that's
Calvin,
what the travel time is.
So frustrating with you.
I should have given it to her. I really should have, because that would have been more interesting as a character thing. But I think what really mattered there was the fact that she left herself in danger to save her friends.
Yeah.
So that was the character bit. And of course, when the character's back in their feet, the thing has 1 hit point. There were like 3 more turns before it. It was going down.
Yeah.
So it went down, and they managed to just finish off the last of the zombies and the skeletons. And I congratulated them because I was kind of worried for you guys. Not gonna lie. But yeah, they managed to make it through. And they continued on their quest. Essentially what happened while they were down there is they found a old friend of theirs who was also investigating like the undead coming from the sewers. As well as finding evidence of someone who was down there, like a bag that they left behind, along with a mysterious note, which I've come to like writing.
So many notes you write now.
Too many. But essentially the note described like everything that had happened prior, which was essentially the Fallen Fortress module, which I modified a bit. Another was like a plague in a nearby town, and then a series of murders in the city. They were all sort of correlated to the same person, whose name they didn't get. But they discovered that they were all related, and that this person was also searching for the same orbs that they were looking for.
Oh, and then now the PCs are like, oh, we gotta stop this motherfucker because no one takes the shit that I'm looking for.
Exactly. And then it described like where that person was heading, which was to the library and the great university schools thing that's all the way on the other side of the map from them, that the wizard had gone to. So I was sort of setting up like that road trip kind of thing.
Yeah, where they have to like get there in time, right? There's a decent amount of time to stop them.
Yeah, pretty much. So yeah, they got back to the surface. They cleaned off because of being in the sewer for hours. They did stop at a bathhouse, and they asked like, is there any rumors or anything going on? And this was the point where my brain finally worked. Because you know, like how I do different like image backgrounds for different spots on the map, like different cities and stuff. So I had a couple prepared because it's like, I know I want to send them towards this direction, but I don't know what's going to be in the very next stops they might go to. So I had a couple of those prepared, and one of them was sort of like a treetop village kind of thing. So I was like, yeah, there's a rumor that people in this area, like merchants, have been attacked by plant creatures. Having no idea what to do with those, I just set up that side quest as just like a thing that they could do, because where they were on the map and where I was directing them to go, it was like, how do I describe it? Essentially, they had a few options of where to go, because they would need a boat to get to the island where the university is. And I was saying, like, there's a few places you can go. The furthest one is, like, you're more likely to get a boat there because it's a capital city, but it's further away. The closest one, it's a bit run down. And then there's one in the middle that's middling between the two of them.
Right.
And then, like, the next, like, you would head westward from where you are right now, and there's a couple of places to the west of this city. So, yeah, it was like, I was like, in one of them, people are being attacked by plant creatures. That's a rumor going around. That's another side quest you can maybe deal with.
Oh, nice. So then I guess that's where it ended, right? Because it feels like you guys did a lot.
No. What happened is I have to describe this craziness that happened. So they were making the plans of where to travel next. They were not going to the place where I described the rumor, because there was another place that was more on the way to where they actually wanted to go. They were going more northwest than just west. And so they were going to this other place that was more like in their direction.
Right.
And so I was describing to them the same thing I've described to the other group, where it's like, you can hop on a caravan, which is cheaper, but it moves at its own schedule, or you can get a carriage, it's more expensive, but it'll go when you want it, where you want. So, like I did before with you guys, I had them roll a d4 to see what day the next caravan was rolling out. Now you guys, you had rolled a 1 when that happened, so I was like, yeah, it's going to go out the next day. They got a 3. So it's like,
oh, okay.
Yeah, it's going to go out in 3 days. And they were like, F that. Ramon, I you know how I said they're a bit more wealthy than that other group?
Yeah.
They decided to buy their own cart and their own horse.
Oh. Nice.
So, like as I'm hearing them make up this plan, I am like, really? You think this is easy? And then I had to go look at the prices of these things. So instead of paying like a few silver per mile or whatever, first off, a horse is 8 gold, just to outright buy one.
That's a lot.
Unfortunately, a horse can only carry one person, given its strength. So I was like trying to figure out how many horses are in the city. I had someone roll a d6 because it's like, it would be super convenient if there are 4 horses in the city, but there is a d6 amount, and if it's that many, then it's that many. It was only 3. So they ended up buying 1 horse, and then I'm looking at the price for like a whole carriage that can fit all of them, and it's going to be like 100 gold or so.
Yeah.
But they ended up going with like a cart that is just going to fit a couple of people, so some people are still going to have to walk. So it's not like it's physically faster than a carriage or a caravan, which is moving at horse speed. They're moving at walking speed still, and their highest walking speed is like 35.
Wait, why didn't they just buy 3 horses?
Because there's 4 players. Well, I mean, they could have. Yeah, I don't know why they didn't think of that.
They could have bought 3 horses and a cart and have 1 person sit at the cart.
Look, I haven't finished, because the cart, like the base cart price in the book is 3 gold. But I was saying, like, this person who's selling carts, they have some better looking ones. There's a couple for 5 and there's one for 10. I was saying how some of them look more comfortable than the others, or have different like designs and stuff. And they're like, yeah, we'll go with the 5 gold cart. And I was like, sure, spend more of your money. It just totally flipped the idea I had out of my head, because it was like, okay, I'll try to do sort of the same, like, you're questing across town or across the map, you need to like make some gold to fund your little road trip here. And they're like, yeah, no, we'll just buy our own way through the map.
Well, you know what? Like, we don't have like a what's it called? A money conscious dwarf piloting the helm of that party, right? So
yeah,
you know, it's
yeah, no, it's just because like they had so much gold left over after I switched systems with them. So yeah, like, they just, I don't know, it was just really hilarious because it was like late at night, so that probably helped a bit. It's just the absurdity of like how crazy rich these
spending
guys
more money to do the exact same thing they could have just waited 3 days to do, like
exactly. So yeah, they headed off. They didn't want to go do that side quest, so but they headed off to a different town, and I had ended it with them like arriving at this town, like when I had switched the background there. I did.
Yeah.
So what I'm gonna have to do with them, instead of having them like spend money, I'm gonna have to have them do animal handling checks. Like essentially, whoever is controlling the cart, which is probably gonna be the wizard or the dwarf because they have the slowest speed. I'll have to have them do an animal handling check. Lucky for them, they got a crit on this one, so it just took them the minimal amount of time to get there. But if on a failed check, it's going to take them like a day or more extra to get to wherever they're going.
Yeah, I think it's kind of nuts that you've made your games like your like play style. I don't want to say play style, but it's like I don't know, like your I want to say your MCU, like you know what I mean? Like your setting is like so conscious about like time and travel and money and accounting, like just like the nitty gritty of stuff. Like,
yeah, because I mean, it worked so well for that one group, so I was like, maybe it'll work for this group.
Yeah, man. I mean, I kind of want to do that, but like I don't, because like I don't care about it. I would rather just teleport you and say some cool stuff happened on the way, and then a month went by, and then you're like, okay, cool. Like,
well, for me, what it does is I really wanted to fill out my world map, so it gives me like, I know you're going in this direction, so I'll put a thing here. I know you guys are going in this direction, so I'll put something here. And it just lets me fill out spaces as people are going, so I'm not just like spinning my wheels and making up things that like I don't have to just make up stuff. I can make things when I want them or when I need them.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. I mean, I do the opposite thing where I kind of just I tell people don't show like about the other parts of my world. So it's like, if I need an NPC, sometimes they'll just be from the other side of the world, and I'll make up something on the spot, and then now that's canon. Like immediately.
Yeah, there was a lot of making stuff up on the spot.
Yeah, I love the spontaneous moments of canon, and then you have to go back and you're like, well, okay, now I gotta make this make sense.
Yeah, you gotta figure it out. But yeah, I really liked how because I gave them bonus XP for it because I was laughing so much about just the absurdity of them deciding to buy their own damn cart and buy their own damn horse and just flip and walk.
Pull in a bender and just be like, oh, forget it, I'll just do it all myself.
Buy my own car with blackjack and hookers.
Yeah, with blackjack and hookers. Oh man.
Yeah, I'm really proud of them. They finally got out of, because like with you guys, I have them. I'm keeping up with them on a calendar. And this was like the first group I had ever started DMing with. So they've been playing for like several, like 2-3 years at this point, but we've only done a handful of sessions, just because you know how life is. So we're gonna try to do more stuff online. I'll see if I can figure that out. But yeah, I was just describing them, and when they saw the map, they saw like how little ground they had actually covered, and they'd only been like together in game for like less than 2 weeks, even though of course it felt like longer.
Yeah, of course. I mean, that's why I do like these month jumps when I do stuff, like, because it's hard to fix that time disassociation, right? Because the time that your character is experiencing is different from the actual gameplay, right? Like you said, like you're probably between them entering the sewers and them getting out of the sewers was in real time, like months, maybe months, right? But like in game time, it was like
it was the same
minutes,
day,
hours, the same day. Like it was like an afternoon, you know? Yeah.
Like essentially the last time we played, it was the morning of the day that we continued. So
yeah, it's kind of that's kind of the thing that I not fixed, but like I wanted to get away from with my Inion game, with my essentially like West March's light game, where it was like you never, at the end of every session, no matter what, you guys have to go back to
the hometown, like the quests,
the town. Yeah. Well, I might change that to be you have to go back to somewhere safe. Like you can never start a session in a dungeon. You have to leave and come back. And then if you guys don't complete the dungeon, then it's like maybe something might show back up in those
moves
rooms. Yeah, right. Something might just move in, or maybe like, you know, the bad guys boarded up the place. It's like, well, make sure these motherfuckers don't come back in here.
Yeah, my worry for that though is like the time skip is like, because then I have to figure out what happened in that time.
I love it. I love thinking about that stuff, because I was like, it helps me like get in the head of like the bad guys. And I typically, unless it's like a so basically, I think nothing much would change if they're like undead or something like that. Something that's like kind of like autonomous, kind of just guarding a place. But I love playing intelligent enemies, so it's like I love playing kobolds and like hobgoblins and goblins, because they think. So, you know, if the kobolds, because I remember you guys fought the kobolds. That I was actually just kind of doing like a write up for that, because I was working on some stuff on the side, that you guys might see in the channel, maybe if I ever record it. but yeah, I was going through it and I was like, man, like these kobolds, they like thought ahead a lot. I was like, damn, Ramon, you are not being easy on these guys. Like they had so many levels of traps and like, you know, they never fought a fair fight with you guys.
No, never go easy on the players.
Never, yeah, or even like when you guys left and then regrouped with the rest of the PCs and like all 6 of you guys charged the place, and then you know you guys got in there and then you guys got trapped and split up. Like they never ever let you guys fight like all together. Like it was awesome, and yeah, and that's why I'm totally fine with ending the day with you guys leaving the dungeon and coming back because
they'll
unless it's like
out,
yeah, unless it's like the very end dungeon, I guess, or like the climactic conclusion. I think I did it for like the Goblin Fort when you guys were in there. I was like, okay, you guys can end the session, but you guys gonna be still in the dungeon. Because it was really funny because when I did that, then you guys were like, oh, I guess we'll just go back to town, and I'm like, nope, you guys have to stay in there because this is the final one for the arc or whatever, right? And they're like gasp. Everyone was like, oh no, I'm half dead.
I mean, yeah, like I don't know if I can think of like strategies and stuff like that. Like I feel like I worry about what I would do with that much time, because as I recently described, all I had was like 3 or 4 in-game days to figure out something for another person, and I was like, okay, they have to travel here at this specific rate and whatever. If you give me a month, I don't know what my brain is going to feel the need to do.
Just put it all back together.
Because I'm gonna be like, okay, when did they do these things? How did they do them? Where did they get the resources? I'm gonna overthink it.
Yeah, well, I mean, so if I think about it now, the game state of what just happened in my Inion game. I mean, this is like months ago. We kind of put the game on hiatus because of the global pandemic, right? So, but you guys just helped out a bunch of centaurs, but you ended up, the only way to help them was to kill their basically their mystical leader. So now their crazy forest that like was hiding them, that like made it so like it was very hard to traverse, is now gone, right? The hobgoblins, you guys dealt with the hobgoblins, realized the hobgoblins have a whole bunch of devil support, and was like, yo, what the heck? But you ended up just having a ceasefire in that moment and then leaving that fort. I mean, and then you guys abandoned the fort. The hobgoblins are just gonna move back in. No spoilers.
Oh boy, we abandoned that fort.
Idiot.
Oh yeah.
Huh?
We did. Yeah.
You guys are about to fight like 100 plus hobgoblins like together, which I was like, back, if I could redo a session, I would redo that one and make you guys fight 100 hobgoblins. I think you guys wanted to, and I didn't want to at that day, but like now I want to. I'm a little sad. So
well, it'll probably
guess what? You guys have to do that again.
Oh God, great.
Yeah, right. And it's winter, right? So I had everyone kind of stop doing stuff. Everyone's boarded up. Like it was. So everyone's hunkering down for the winter. No warring, no adventuring right now. There's a bunch of stuff in the town that's going on. Like I miss playing Union because it was like a simpler time where I don't have to think about too far ahead in terms of like linking plot threads together. Where I could just be like, hey, there's a weird thing in the forest. And they're like, weird thing in the forest? We'll go check it out. Like, it's so easy.
Yeah, now we all got to make everything complicated and difficult.
Yeah. So, we're pushing a little bit here.
We're like an hour,
episode.
Coming up at an hour 15, so...
Yeah, I just want to add in what my weekend was, because I spent a long time. Because I have a problem. I love Lancer, the Mega RPG. Like, I love the system. I love the setting. I love the idea. I love mechas. It all just makes me feel so good. But the problem is, I have a problem with the scale. Like, the scale of it it's like I can't wrap my DM brain around.
Like, what do you mean?
Because, okay, so like you're playing a medieval fantasy game, right?
Mm-hmm.
I just burnt down a city in the pirate campaign.
Yeah.
But that doesn't mean anything to anyone, like, halfway around the world, right?
Sure.
But in terms of Lancer, where you're able to move between whole star systems, there needs to be like a real serious problem for players to have to deal with, right? Or why would the players be dealing with this problem? Because there's so many people out there, so many Lancers out there, so many more. It's just like the scale I can't comprehend. Like, it's like, why would like the PCs in fantasy deals with the problem because they're the ones that are there in the moment, right?
Okay, yeah.
But you know what I mean? They're not chosen by destiny. In my mind, no one's ever chosen by destiny. It's like circumstance or whatever, right? You're not destined to be there.
Yeah,
you just happen to be in the area.
Yeah.
Right? It could have been anyone, but it was you.
Okay.
So, yeah. So it's like,
so why can't you why can't you adapt that to Lancer, or why can't you have like the situation where the players are, because like in this game that I was just talking about, like they're members of the Adventurers Guild, so when quests come up, like they're sent out to do them. Like can't you have the Lancer being part of some mercenary or guard group or something that's like, this problem that happened is required to be your problem now?
yeah, I know, by your boss telling you that it is, right?
Yeah.
So, go fill out this paperwork about how many bodies you put in the dirt, like.
Yeah.
But yeah, of course that's the easiest solution, and that's kind of my ultimate what I came up with. But it's like I wanted to build like a dramatic narrative for like a planet, maybe a system, just something that could be like, I really want to have a campaign going from like license level 0 to like 12, because it's like I like the progression, right? I want the progression. I want my players to be like, remember we were level 0? That sucked. Now how cool are we, and look at how cool our Gundams are, like that's just what I want. But it was so hard. I racked my brain around it so much, and I found that like really what I wanted to do was make cool maps and design cool encounters, right? Like that's what I wanted to do. And so what I did was I just did that. I just spent like a weekend. I used so shout out to a couple of programs that I thought was really awesome. Increate is like, or Incarnate, yeah, I think it's called Incarnate is such a powerful tool, and I think it's like, I don't know, man, you can make some really fabulous stuff with very minimal effort. Like I'm kind of okay at kind of graphic design stuff, but like it's just a simple tool. It's so easy to use. It can make amazing stuff, So anyway, I just did a bunch of that. Went into Roll20, did a bunch of that. Retro Minis has like, it's like a website where you can go and make. I think you could go for a Patreon for $1 a month. You get to be able to just export the files.
Yeah.
You can make your own custom mechs. So I sat there and made a whole bunch of custom mechs. I think the creator actually just started an NPC series. So now all the NPC mechs in the base core book of Lancer are there.
Ooh.
So that was like, oh man, thank God this dude exists, because what would I do? So I changed, like I just made up a bunch of stuff, made a bunch of scenarios, and I was like, okay, I'm feeling a little bit more confident. And then now I started sliding all the pieces together. And once I made like a series of things, I will sit on it for a little bit, and I'm like, oh cool, I can add a little bit here, a little bit there. And then, eventually I finally have like a couple of, I guess, missions to rock and roll. And like I think I don't know where I was going with this, but like I think the DM advice here specifically.
Oh yeah,
DM
like, advice.
Yeah, it was right at the end, the super secret outro DM advice that we have to plant in after all the flim flam from the beginning. But it is you just kind of fall back onto what you're comfortable with and muck around in that for a little bit if you're getting a little stressed out. Because sometimes I get stressed out about like my writer's block. Like, right? It's just like sometimes you just gotta dig deep and just do the things that you want to do, that you're good at, and you just pluck away at it, and eventually other things will just, attach itself, and then you'll have a story.
You also, I think, have to trust the players a bit to like help you with that, even unconsciously, because I wasn't sure, like, because I was trying to think of like what's going to be in these very next 2 towns that they might go to. but we didn't even get to them because they were so busy with everything that, like, the boss fight and everything that they were doing in the city, that we didn't even get to that. And now I can have, like, a better idea of what'll be there.
Yeah, totally. Well, the only issue I find was maybe we'll bring it up in bigger detail, like the next podcast, is that Lancer is it's actually pretty rigid of a combat storytelling kind of system. Not that you couldn't have a little bit of both in between, right? But it's just the way that it's like the section of the game where you're in your mix and the section of the game where you don't have to be in your mix, right?
Yeah.
And like, you know, and just kind of navigating those sections, and it's like, well, the mission is like you hit the action right away, like your drop pod hits the floor, like your mech comes out, you're already in a gunfight kind of situation, right?
Yeah.
While I think in other role playing games like D&D and Pathfinder, there's like this, it's a continuation, right? It's there's not as much of a jarring stop between like action narrative, right? You can just flow in between them.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
A little bit easier. So I had to think about Lancer more of like a movie, like we're simulating like an action sci-fi movie, rather than a live-in, breathing kind of world, because it's like I need to have the jump cuts, right?
Yeah.
I need to think of the jump cuts when I'm thinking about Lancer versus like, you know, the continuation flow of narrative, like like a book. Like I think fantasy, Pathfinder, D&D is more like a book adventure versus like, you know, Lancer, which I think is an action-packed adventure. I mean, I could be totally wrong. That's just
I think I see what you're saying. Like, it's those like what's in between getting into and getting out of the suit versus a character who's always got their magic on them.
Yeah, exactly, right.
Yeah,
it's like you're not always. It's like a Top Gun. They're not always in their planes, right?
Yeah.
Sometimes you gotta take your shirt off and play volleyball, right? Like, so we gotta have those volleyball scenes, and we got the Top Gun scenes. Like that's what it is. Right?
I'm looking forward to our beach episode in Lancer, but we are at 122, so
yeah.
Gosh, yeah. Busy weekends all around. I need to not talk for 5 days and take a nap. Gosh, but yeah, podcast. So yeah, I hope I know a lot of this is mostly us just talking about our experiences, but I hope some useful information was passed along. If it was, why not like the video to let us know?
Yeah, and if you want to hear us do more stuff or hear us talk about more stuff, wow, outro podcast, so good.
If you want to hear us talk about more stuff like this, you want to hear us flim flam more. I know a lot of our listeners are unsubscribed. I don't have the numbers on me right now, but
I think it's like 60-30 or something like that. That seems to be the numbers.
Oh
in my
gosh.
Head.
Yeah. Why not subscribe? Come on.
Yeah,
Come on.
It'll help us out a lot. Actually, it'll get us.
It really
boost
will.
us through the YouTube algorithm. If you drop a like, hit us up with a comment and subscribe to the channel. Make sure you hit that notification, the bell notification button. Make sure it's set to ring so you know
every
exactly
time we upload a video.
Exactly on Wednesday when we upload this video.
Exactly. You want to see us on social medias? Check out our Twitter and our Facebook at Win With Dice for both of those. Also check out our website, winwithdice.ca, where you can see some sort of exclusive contents there, like images and stuff like that, as well as profiles of the members of the team.
Yeah.
Everybody you should know. Yeah, I think that covers everything.
Yeah, let's do the outro.
All right. While I go, I think you can definitely hear how rough my voice is. But even with that, I want to remind everybody to keep on winning with dice.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, folks. Have a good one. We'll see you next Wednesday.
Yeah, see you guys. Bye.